very much. Actually, I don't want to say anything. I just wanted to request you to allow Professor Mugabe 1 or 2 minutes. I've seen he's been posting very provocative things around policy and how the research of our beneficiaries are actually ahead of policy. And I just wanted him as a way of provoking all of us to say something, if you could allow that.
I know he's on my agenda. He's coming.
Okay,
he's coming after the students, after the other. Yeah, he's there. He's supposed to wrap up and give his observation. Yeah, so he's there on my calendar, on my agenda.
Yeah,
so, but yeah, that's fine. And I can see some other comments which are coming through now as we prepare to hear from Professor Mugabe from the policy side. Can I read? I can see one from Mawan Sesi. I appreciate the presentations from all the presenters. They are really, really working. And I want to agree with that comment. And we need to join in to work side by side to get where we want Africa to be. And I think that is a very, very good comment. It is actually a challenge for all of us, not just for the presenters or those who are doing the work. It is also for us who are, because this is a partnership. Because once they have the innovations ready for to be shared, we need partners who should come in and help us in disseminating those lessons, disseminating those innovations to the public. So this really is a good comment for the presenters as well as all of us who are listening. We do have policymakers here. I'm going to give just 1 minute to Professor Mugabe and Professor Mama Muchi, who has joined us. He's here. So to also share their thoughts about the presentation, but they are going to come after. Unless we don't have any other comments, I think I can now give this opportunity to, I will start with Professor Mugabe, then we can have Professor Mama Muchi to share your thoughts about, and I can see Professor Wadiga, you've raised your hand. You will come in after Professor Mugabe and after Mama Muchi. So go ahead, John.
Thank you, Anne. I was actually not prepared to make these comments. But after listening to the very rich, excellent presentations, it's clear, at least to me, that R&D in artificial intelligence is way ahead of policy and ethics in Africa. When you go around listening to policymakers and technology activists, anti-technology activists, sometimes we go away with this feeling that nothing is happening on the continent. When you go to international conferences on artificial intelligence, you sometimes get this wrong message that in fact the technologies and R&D in general are being conducted somewhere else in the world, and Africa is just going to be a mere recipient of artificial intelligence technologies. But what we've heard so far are that one, there are investments in artificial intelligence, at least at levels of research and development. Even in countries without explicit policies to promote artificial intelligence. Now, in my view, the challenge is ensuring that we don't undermine these current efforts by putting in place policies that are going to hinder innovation. We have some experiences in Africa with biotechnology, genomics in particular, where some countries invested resources in R&D, but later on the same countries adopted policies that eroded, in fact, capabilities in biotechnology. So I'm just raising this general issue, and possibly what needs to be done, a proposal I've made to Professor Gad already, is to get researchers in artificial intelligence, dialogue with policymakers, provide evidence that in fact this particular technology can be developed and used for human development of the continent. And
thank you. I think those are very good and what I can call thought-provoking comments coming from a policymaker. And of course, speaking from experience, because you have engaged with technology, the entire continent, and you are speaking from experience, and we hear you. And I think again, I push the question back to those who are, those who are engaged in these innovations, and request them to think about the policy implication of your work and how you can bring on board the policymakers. I saw Neema. So I think you are from the ministry, from Tanzania, a policy person, commenting on the work, and I think we do have policymakers here, and they are all very much looking forward to supporting in creation of what we can call a conducive ecosystem or conducive environment for this knowledge. I can call it knowledge at this point in time, but this knowledge, it needs to become innovation at some point where it can be beneficial to the society, to Africa in general. So your comments are very, very welcome. Mama, I know I was going to give you 1 minute. I don't know whether you are still here. You had already raised a comment on the chat, and it was responded to by the presenter. So if you're still here, it would be nice for you. I know you have been engaging on promotion of technological innovation in Africa at the African level. So it would be nice if you can say something. But as we wait for Mamo, we do have Professor Wandiga. Professor Wandiga, the Dean of our African Center for Technology Studies College, and a professor. So are you ready, Professor Wandiga? I think you are muted.
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Yes, I must say how grateful I am. And my introductory remarks have not been put to shame. I'm very grateful for the work which are being done by our presenters today. The range is very wide and the implications is enormous for the continent. I want to just give an example of one, just because because of my age, I'm having the eye diseases, which somebody is trying to study. I have recently been admitted for cataract removal. And in that sense, the cataract has been removed very well, and the operation went well. But I have a double problem with my retina, that whenever I go into an hospital, they see double things, which when I went to the retina clinic are dismissed. And it started for me in France, when I fell down because of bifocal. And the doctor in France said that I had ocular eye in one of my retina eyes, particularly the right one, the right eye. When I came to Kenya for 10 years, I saw a lady expert who was also confirming that I had ocular. disease. And then somebody said that ocular disease, you should have lost all of your eyes if you have lasted for 10 years. So he asked for a specialist in retina observations, and he disputed that one. And recently, the lady who operated on me also said that, oh, there's something I'm seeing some flesh. So again, I went to the retina lab, and they said there's nothing like that. So what I'm saying is, with this story, is that we are not sufficiently equipped in most of our hospitals to detect some of these eye diseases, and they are coming in multiple. So there are a tendency of having many more blindness coming from eye diseases. And the speaker today rose my interest, and I'm asking him to improve whatever decision he will discover to ensure that the equipment is available, is affordable. And that goes to all the speakers, that whatever you develop should be turned into a commercial situation that would make it available to many of us, and it at affordable prices. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. You touch on quite good points, which I think they align very well with our context. You know, the context we have in Africa. I think it was Stewart who was addressing that particular topic, retina topic. Stewart from South Africa. I think he can, if he's still around, he may probably comment maybe 1 second, but I can see areas you have raised your hand. Do you want to respond to the question by Professor Shem Wadiga, or is a new question? Or should we have Stewart just say one respond to that question? Maybe 1 minute quickly, if he's still here, Stewart. Yes, it's a new question, or is you want to respond to the comments from Professor John Mugabe and Shem Wadiga? Anything on those two, the two interventions? You are muted. Yes. I think it's muted. Areas, as we wait for areas to get into the, because we only have now, we are remaining 10 minutes because we want to break a bit earlier than when the program was supposed to end. So we only probably have only 10 minutes to wind up. So I would encourage, if you're able to speak areas, you can actually speak. You can stop me and speak. That is fine. But as we wait for you to do that, and I see some comments. I see comments. Let me just see what we have on the chat. Trying to see. Yes, I can see a comment from it's Ojende, Dr. Ojende. You are responding to the comment by Professor Professor Mugabe, but there's a question which Mesfin has asked, which I think is a very relevant question on what comes first, innovation or policy. And I think this is a question around the chicken egg question, but it's something which I think we can discuss. It's not something which we can exhaust here, because it elicits different perspectives about technologies, developing technologies or developing policies before we have the products. And but I think I would want to agree with the Professor Mugabe that innovation and policy should actually co-evolve. And we do actually have very good case studies or examples which really speaks to the need to have the two co-evolve. I can speak about biotechnology, the GMOs. I can talk about the gene drives that we are now discussing. We are trying to develop policies and regulations to regulate something which we don't have. And I think that's, for me, is probably the best practice, the best way to go about it, because we must be ready with the policies, because as you can see from our conversation today, already it is emerging that we need what we can call governance structures, because some of these innovations are likely going to attract regulatory issues. They are likely going to attract, resistance from some participants or from some stakeholders. And there is need for the policymakers to invest in governance structures that would be able to kind of guide in the diffusion or decision-making pertaining to whether to adopt those technologies or not. And if we do adopt them, then how are we going to manage any potential, concerns which may come from the public? So I think that is would be my comment now, as I wait for somebody has raised their hand. I can't see who has raised their hand. Somebody tell me who is raising hands. I can't see from my screen. Yeah. Oh, it's a node hand.
It's a node hand.
It's a node hand. So then maybe I would want to add to that then if we need to do this for ourselves, according to what Professor, the question that has been posed by Shem, then we need to develop our own ROCO capabilities. If we are going to come up with innovations or technologies that are going to work for Africans, then we need to ROCarize. We need to come up with ROCO capabilities. ROCO capabilities in terms of human resource who can operate those machines which are going to come up, capabilities to manage those capabilities to afford. We need to be able to afford those infrastructure. So I think that is an issue for capabilities. It is also an issue for inclusivity. Professor Shem Wadiga is raising a very key question of affordability. So how do we make these technologies and innovation affordable and accessible to the poor or those who may not be able to afford those facilities, especially in the health sector? And I think those are questions that we need to discuss. So I think at this point, because I don't see hands up and I don't see areas, I don't see Stewart, I would want to give back this particular, the space now to Dr. Ojenge to guide us on the crossing. We can have Professor Oganda, and then I think I can see somebody on the program from CIDA, from IDRC, and I think somebody from ACTS, that is Professor Oganda. So over to you, Dr. Ojende, for the final crossing session.
Thank you so much, Anne. You have done a wonderful job. There's no job as hard as this one. Over these hours, I think you've maintained coherence and order, and you managed to get us out and have the sessions even earlier than we had thought. I just wanted to sneak a quick thing just before then I invite Professor Gada, that in these instances, in this particular instance, there are innovations which are generated indigenously by Africans. But AI is an area that has already been occupied. It's a space that has already been occupied by some of the researchers from the north, and these applications are actually in use, and already they're experiencing some of the dangers, some of the risks are already being encountered. One I can tell you for sure is, remember the last elections, the US elections that we had, the one before the last one, how a company that is heavy in machine learning try to use data analytics then to manipulate politics within certain countries. So what the ethical people are actually, AI people are actually talking about is just that they are not bringing it out step by step. They're not giving us the detail, but it really involves things like during data collection, there has to be gender uniformity as you collect the data, plus the other vulnerable groups. There needs to be explicit declaration of your purpose for data collection so that there is informed consent, privacy of data and responsible use. During data analytics, you need to have an explainable AI. Your application should be able to explain why it arrived at whatever decision it's arriving at. Then it needs also to be auditable so that you can tell where it's making errors. There has to be a regime for auditing. And then during deployment, there shouldn't be misuse of these models for political manipulation, etc. So it's basically just around that. I don't think it's anything very mysterious, but now allow me then to welcome under closing, to welcome this Kathy Clancy. I know it's really, but it would be nice to have you close this for the day.
Okay, is Katia there, by the way, Katia Clancy?
Yes, she is.
Okay, then I'll be inviting her to do the final remarks. Otherwise, just allow me to make a few remarks. The first one is really to thank all the presenters to today. This has been really very, very wonderful information package. Very encouraging, very motivating. And I always feel very good to listen to the presentation from the beneficiaries of this program. I call myself the Dean of the Scholarship Program. And when I see the beneficiaries making such a wonderful presentation, I really feel very, very good. And therefore, to thank you and to congratulate you and to wish you success in completing your projects, and more importantly, to ensure that you develop solutions and make them available for deployment at a scale that can have tangible impact to the relevant SDGs that they are targeting. Not forgetting what my Dean of Scholars, Professor Wandiga, has said, that they need also to be affordable. So that is one. Number two is also to hope that you, from this, the feedback that you have got and the unique opportunity that has been created to interact with the gurus in the areas of innovation, the like of Professor Mugabe, Dr. Anne Kigiri, Professor Wandiga, and the other keynote speakers, that you have also have something to take home to add value to your research. A clear indication that this program is providing a unique opportunity for you, not only to network, but also to build your capacities and expose you to other areas that normal researchers perhaps in their daily research activities neglect, and specifically issues related to how your research can influence policy and how your research can be packaged to be taken up, then becomes very, very important. And then finally, to indicate that I really liked some of the feedback that also came from the beneficiaries, and very, very provocative questions like what Dr. Anne Kigiri mentioned. What should come first? Is it innovation, or is it policy? And I think that provides us with the opportunity as organizers of the CGI seminar, even to see another window of engagement and agree with what Professor Mugabe had actually requested that I do, that we'll be organizing a special session between you, developers of solutions, with policymakers from around various countries in Africa, including the countries where you come from, so that right from the beginning, they can also know that something wonderful is coming up and that there may be some policy gap that needs to be fast, very quickly addressed. So that is something we are going to do. We look forward to engaging with you. And because I'm not coming back again to speak, tomorrow is a special session which will be focusing on artificial intelligence and women. And the purpose of this is really to motivate more female researchers to move into this area. And again, I want to request all the participants that are still here, and 45 of you are still here, that through your network, you can also go out of your way to invite as many young girls and women in this area, so that slowly we can generate a lot of interest in them early enough to move into developing new technologies around artificial intelligence and machine learning. And with that, I request the manager of the program, and I know she must be also as delighted as I am, to give a few remarks and close day 2 of our 3rd CJ seminar series.
Thanks so much, Prof. And I don't want to keep people too long. I know you're eager to wrap up early. But just first of all, to say thank you to everyone who presented today, and to all of everyone who organized and facilitated for really fantastic in-depth presentations on the status of your research. I can say for a fact, it's one of the most rewarding parts of my job, is just to learn what everybody is doing and to see the sort of tangible results and benefits. We often operate at a high level where we're dealing with a lot of the questions that many of you were asking and discussing today around how to co-evolve policy with innovation, how to enhance talent and capacity to really drive things forward, and how all of those things are integrated systematically. But just tangible research results is an amazing first step to help ground it and what's really happening with it. Within the research landscape, some of the really promising directions and some of the big challenges that we need to keep thinking about how to address in new and different ways. So I also see a number of new and old colleagues here. But I will just say quickly before I let you all go, I mean, we're also really excited by the opportunity to discuss inclusion. So I do hope that you all are able to make it tomorrow, because it's really important that we all contribute to helping to create new opportunities for women and men within STEM fields. But then also just to say, again, thank you for sharing your research findings and these really interesting discussions. And they're well documented, and I look forward to reporting back to my colleagues as well. So thank you for today. And I will, with that, I will just say goodbye, and looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks very much. Let me just find out if Angela Christiana is there, our co-host, to say something. Ah, there you are.
Hi, I'm here.
Yes.
Thanks, Tom. It's been a wonderful day. I've really enjoyed the presentations. Thank you for everyone's flexibility with the challenges. And we noted yesterday what a challenge infrastructure can be to making progress in these, highly technical areas. So appreciate everyone's flexibility and enthusiasm for the topic. And it's been our honor. Again, thanks to ACT, the Governing Council, and the staff for pulling this together so wonderfully. And congrats to all the students who are doing this terrific work. So yes, I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well, and we'll see you all then.
Okay, then thanks very much and bye-bye. The meeting was already closed. And of course, thanks very much, Dr. Ann Kigiri, for moderating for almost 6 hours. That's really great. You need a bonus.
Thank you. I enjoyed very much. They were very, very exciting, presentations. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, cheers and be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you, Ajira. Bye. Thank you, Katie.